plants are about 1 to 2 feet tall at this time, and so it's time to put up a trellis. We're going to use the Florida weave trellising system this year. I finished the trellising for the tomatoes. Unfortunately, I kept one side open, and I did that on purpose, or one part of the trellising and the first row open, so that I could come in this way versus having to walk all the way down to the end of a row to walk in to pick tomatoes. And in doing so, though, I, of course, forgot one tomato outside of the pole, but that's okay. I'll just tie it along the pole as it gets taller, and that's what we'll do for that. But this is done. The way the Florida weave works is to place the twine around the poles, and you'll keep going around each pole all the way to the end, and then you'll come back again on the other side, so that in the end your twine is on each side of the pole, and it leaves this loop here that you put your tomato plants in between. And this is what holds the tomato plants up. You want to make sure that you try to get this twine really good and tight so that the tomato plants can't pull too hard down on it and make it fall, because as you know, tomato plants get very heavy as their fruit starts to ripen and grow. As the tomatoes grow taller, you keep adding twine up the pole to get as tall as you possibly can. The reason why we're doing the Florida weave this year is because that's what I have available. We have twine, and I have stakes and bamboo poles, which I've added to my broken stakes to get taller, and that's what I have. So we try to use what we have available, try to we're trying to minimize our expenditures on the garden, because the whole point is to try to put out less but still grow a really quality product. So that's where we are right now with our tomatoes. The brassicas are all in the ground. I will fill in more kale and collards, waiting for the soybeans and the lima beans and the flageolet beans to grow. The butterwax beans, the kalima beans, and the teepee purple beans have all sprouted. They're looking good. There are a few misses, and I will add bean seeds into those spots to fill in for the misses. If I don't see beans sprouting in the next couple of days, I'll go ahead and probably tomorrow fill in those spots. And we still have to plant the cowpeas, but the temperatures are dipping for last night, tonight, and tomorrow down into the 40s. So I will probably plant them tomorrow, because after tomorrow, temperatures are supposed to go up in the evening into the lower 50s. So I'll go ahead and get the cowpeas into the ground tomorrow. Peas are looking good. All the other plants are looking good. I have to do some weeding. Front garden is just about done. I've collected a bucket of rocks. I collect a bucket of rocks every year from this garden. I seem to grow more rocks than I grow vegetables. More asparagus. I wait all year for this asparagus. I get so excited when it starts to grow, and then right around June I am done with asparagus. I don't want to see any more asparagus for a few months. I'm done. But we are still going to harvest for another, I think, 2 weeks. Rob wants to harvest for 2 more weeks. So we'll harvest 2 more weeks. Maybe I'll push it down to a week and a half, and then we'll let all of the asparagus go to fern. We've already started to let some of it fern out. But more asparagus to harvest. Yes, Ronan.
It had little holes in it. I put it over my face thinking I could see through it. I'm like, look, it's the door. I got too close and I banged my head into it. Okay. Can I have the...
Here, go ahead. Here. Yep, down at the bottom. Yep. Careful where your feet are, because there's some new babies that planted there. Yep. You can eat the leaves of all of your brassicas. When our brassicas get to be about this tall, like the broccoli, the Brussels sprouts, I go ahead and I start harvesting 1 or 2 leaves every couple of days. Not enough to completely defoliate the plant, but enough to basically make a meal for the day. I add them to chard, to mustard greens, to collard greens, and I make just some mixed greens. Our harvest for the day today is asparagus, florets from the sea kale, mustard greens, some Swiss chard, and broccoli leaves.